What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. I don't even have anything else to report, since yesterday's show. No bets after yesterday's show. But have lost a couple in a row. Have lost three in a row. Two, two hooks. Two terrible, terrible hooks. So today we're gonna try to get back on track. Vino, um, I'm not sure if you got involved in the late game yesterday. How's everything on your end?
Everything's good. Skee, I didn't get involved in that Washington-Toronto game last night. But some of the trends that we rattled off came true. Washington under in the first half just remains a force. Um, the Toronto over stuff didn't work, but all the Washington under stuff worked as the Mystics kind of controlled tempo, pace, dominated on the inside, like we would have figured against Toronto. So things worked out. Probably could have made something off of it, but chose not to play. Have played today already, the game that we'll talk about. So we can get into it.
Yeah, we do have two games already going so far. And man, I talked about it on Wager Talk today too, but disappointing I didn't actually push the button on that Sky game. Only game we have left looks like Valkyries and Fever. But just a quick glance. My bad. Just a quick glance. We do have 86-77 Chicago, about 6 minutes left in the game. 26-22 Minnesota, about 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Maybe we'll have a chance to look at a second half bet. Maybe not, but just throwing out some of those lines there. All right. The one game we have left this afternoon, Valkyries heading into Indiana to take on the Fever. This one open to -1.5. That is what we're looking at right now. Total open 168.5. And I'm seeing a lot of different numbers. So make sure you line shop. I see a 166 out there. I see a I see 166.5, 165.5. You can get anything you want. It seems like on the total. For the injury report, you do still have Caitlin Clark probable. I mean, she's on the injury report every single game. Gabby, Gabby's questionable though. For the Fever, it is their first game home after a little bit of a road trip. For the Valkyrie, they've been on the road for quite a while. I'm just gonna pull it. Is this like their fifth straight road game? I believe. Let's see, one, two, yeah, fifth straight road game for these Valkyries. But they did have 4 days off before this game, so 4 days off, and they have the rest advantage. The Fever are rested. They are at home. Looks like they'll be fully healthy here, Rob Veno. What are you thinking about Valkyries and Fever?
Yeah, my first inclination, Skee, just off the top of my head, looking at the game, was the way Golden State is playing. How do you not play Golden State? How do you not play under the way they've been D'ing up on teams? But then you get into closer examination of all of this stuff, and you find that the Golden State defensive numbers are nice, but they're not exactly built on the best scoring offenses in the league. Now, I will say this: 3 of those 7 games that they played, I think they played 6-1 to the under. Um, that matchup with Atlanta, we saw it, Skee, all 3 times. Atlanta just doesn't match up with that team at all. Golden State was able to defend them on the perimeter, shut them down. But otherwise, Connecticut's not an offensive force. They don't try to score points. They don't try to get a lot of shots up at the hoop. Washington, the same thing. Toronto's, their lineup is decimated with injuries at this point in time. The New York game, they did hold New York down. Sabally didn't play. I think New York, that was like in the middle of some West Coast road trip. You could almost justify that. Here, I'll say this. They played Indiana twice this year, and they were 2 times in a very tight span, within 6 days of each other. Played them at Indiana. That game, I'll go to my, one of the analytics that I use, potential points. In that game, Golden State at Indiana, May 22nd, potential points in that game. 370 points could have been scored if every single ball went through the hoop. These teams managed to convert on 46.5% of those points. Game landed 90-82, 172 total, better than what we're asked to get to tonight. Got a chance to see each other, come back 6 days later. Everybody knows everybody. You play it in Golden State, where Golden State's a really good defensive force. This time, not 370 potential points, but 380, even more. And they shot it even better. Instead of scoring 46.5, they scored 46.8, 90-88 final, 178 total, 12 more than what we're asked to get to tonight. So I think point being here, this matchup specific doesn't should not be correlated, in my estimation, at least, to what Golden State's done recently. I think Indiana's pace, Indiana's different scoring options, multiple scoring options, especially with as hot as Sophie Cunningham has been, certainly shown that they can score on this team. And Golden State scores back because Indiana still can't play defense. The game against the Aces the other night, I think, again, you could probably justify that. That was back-to-backs for the Aces. They just didn't. They came out very, very flat in that game. To me, I feel like this 166 provides us a little value, Skee. I think it can get as high as 69, 70 in this game. And the last thing I'll say here is that without Gabby Williams, who's the best perimeter defender on this team, and they've got a lot of good ones, but she's the best. I think she leads the team in steals. She definitely creates havoc. If Gabby Williams doesn't play again, it's a little different than playing Connecticut without Gabby Williams and holding them to 64. Trying to hold Indiana down after they've proven twice that they can score on you without Gabby Williams this time, I'm not so sure that that doesn't help the over as well. So for me, I bet it already. I like it. Indiana, Golden State over 166.
I like it. Before I continue into this game, I want to ask you, who do you think, which team is better? Are the Valkyries the better team or the Fever the better team?
Well, I think I could give you two different answers. I think if you and I were picking teams in the playground, we'd probably want more parts of Indiana's roster. But I think if you're asking me what team is better, plays better as a team, I think Golden State plays as good as any team together. So I think it's kind of like two different answers.
So you're saying the Fever are more talented, but the Valkyries play like a better team, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I can understand and agree with that. Um, you know, looking at the Valkyries lately, yeah, their defense has been good. They played the Mystics, the Tempo, and the Sun. I mean, do we have to pull up the
Right.
standings? I
Right.
mean,
Right.
your defense should look good versus those three teams. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, this Fever team, I mean, I feel like they've proven they played the Aces twice. I mean, they did have some. The Sparks defense is not the best, but I mean, this Fever team. I'm looking at their last 10 games. I'm just gonna call them out: 109, 92, 92, 84, 111, 109, 86, 96, 101, 113. The average is 104 points over the last 10 games for this Fever team. They can score the basketball. This is not the Sun. This is not the Mystics. This is not the Tempo with all the injuries they have going on. I think that because they play so fast, because they have a lot of talent, like you talked about, they're able to score on anybody. And like you mentioned earlier, they've proven they can score on this team already earlier this season. Um, I think that the Valkyries, being as rested as they are, being on the road, I don't think they're the team that's going to control the tempo. I think it's the Fever controlling the tempo, just like it was in the previous meetings. And I think that because Valkyries are rested, they might be fine playing a little bit faster game and just shooting threes. They want to shoot threes anyway. So I disagree with the market pushing this total down. I'm with you, Vino. I think this one should be going the other way. I think it's an over game. I think it gets above 170. And if I have to pick a side, it gets a little bit tougher. Um, you know, I have to look at it and I say the Valkyries have beaten them 4 out of 5 times? Is this one of those situations where the Valkyries just match up really well with the Fever, like how the Aces have the Valkyries number? Some teams just have another team's number or match up with them really well. So I'm curious about that. I didn't go through all those games to see if Caitlin Clark played in all of them. But that's just a thought. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Real quick, I'll say the first game that totaled 172, the 90-82 game in Indiana, Caitlin Clark had been rested the game before. She did play in that game. Zandalicini didn't play for Golden State in that one. The
That's a
second
big
time
deal.
around, when they scored even more, 178, and the game was played in Golden State, where they're better defensively, everybody played. Everybody was healthy for that one. So you kind of get the gist that these teams, they got a chance to see each other. They still couldn't stop one another. Last thing I'm going to say, Skee, I should have said this at first because you started rattling off how many points Indiana has scored in their last 10 games. But their last 6 home games, and only one of these went overtime. All right. Their last 6 home games, here's where the total landed: 220, 204, 209, 220, 198, and 163. I mean, 198 is the lowest of the high totals, the 5 that have gone over this number tonight. I don't know, man. It seems to me that Indiana, like you say, with their pace, with their options, and the counter or the other obvious helping point there is they just don't play good enough defense to stop the other side. So we think Golden State can get their share as well.
Agreement on that one. Um, yeah, that'll wrap it up. The chat looks like they like the Valkyries, and Mario likes the over. Mario likes the over. All right, good stuff. We will wrap it up. Let's see what we can do promo wise. We do still have one of the best. The 2-for-1 3-day all access. Only $69. You get every play from Rob Veno and myself for 3 days. If you want to exclude, maybe want to exclude Skee. Said Skee, he can't win anymore. How many games has he lost now? He's lost 3 in a row. I don't want to ride with Skee. Maybe you want to ride with Rob Veno. Buy 3 days, get 3 free. 6 days comes out to just $69. Maybe you're one of those people who, you're like, it's gonna come back around. Skee, he's been on point this year. Um, maybe you want to ride with Skee. You want to buy low after he's lost 3 and say it's gonna come back around. I mean, I am the number 1 basketball capper, and this promo right here says if you would like to join for NBA next year, you can get the lowest price it will ever be, $6.99, and they will include the WNBA season for free. And I've only lost 1.5% in the WNBA this year. Over the last 2 years, I am 14-5 on those 5% plays, and you guys can see up about little bit over 120 units in basketball in 2026. So a lot of different ways to either ride with Rob Veno or myself or both. All right, Veno. It's about that time. If you have anything else you'd like to promote, feel free. And if you have a best bet for the show, we'd love to hear it. If you don't, it's all good.
Yeah, selection package up and available now at wagertalk.com for all you guys interested. I will say this, Skee. I'm going to give a best bet because I'm about to bet it. I'm just waiting for the final 2 minutes and 40 seconds to run out of the first half here. But I'm looking at numbers here, and it shows me that the second half total for LA, Minnesota is 91.5. They've scored 56 points in the first half with full lineups. Cameron Brink was even back today for LA, or is back. Both of these teams are very, very strong scoring second half teams. 91.5, you're telling me we need 46 each out of LA and Minnesota after this miserable. Maybe they just didn't wake up for this game, noon central start. But I'm going to play the over, and I'm going to leave that as a best bet. Over 91.5. Second half for anybody who wants to, don't want to wait till tonight, want to get involved right this second, like myself. I'm gonna use that right now. I'm gonna bet it as we speak when you give yours, and I'll leave that as the best bet. LA, Minnesota, second half over 91.5.
And I haven't been necessarily watching that game, but I agree with everything you're saying. I'm just looking at the stats right now. I mean, they're combined 2 for 22 from 3 so far in the first half. I mean, they've got to come around in the second half as far as some better shooting. Like you said, maybe they weren't awake, they weren't ready yet this morning. But coming out in the second half, I think they can get back to playing the kind of basketball that we're used to seeing from both of them. So I'll agree with your best bet, that second half over, and yeah, we'll leave it like that. So, Vino, it's always good breaking these games down with you. Helps my process quite a bit. Chat, we appreciate you as well. Best of luck, everybody, whatever you decide to bet. I know there's a big World Cup game coming on. Maybe everybody will be watching that too. Yeah, best of luck on all of your action. And Vino and I will catch you again tomorrow.